Hello and welcome. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different, something I don't normally do, and that is I'm going to give you a tour of my Fletcher class destroyer, my 1/125 scale of Lindbergh's Blue Devil Destroyer, also known as the USS Melvin. It's DD-680. This is a Fletcher class destroyer from World War II. Plastic model kit, fairly large, very old, and I'll show you the insides because people have asked. So let's check it out. Okay, now for a quick little once-over of my model. So as you can see here, this is a fairly large model. It is a vintage Lindbergh kit. Here is the box. If you find it in the store, this is what the front of the box looks like. Now, my box is really old. It's been buried in the garage and it's rather filthy. I cleaned that up as best I could for the video. I never knew I'd be filming the box, but there you have it. So you can see if you find this on a store shelf, which some stores do still carry this kit. I'm not sure if they're still manufacturing it, but I have seen this in the wild and online. If you do find this box on a store shelf, there you go. You can see the boat is as big as the box. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the model here up close. As you can see, this is a very detailed kit. However, when I built it, I kind of skimped on the detailing. If I had to do it over, I would have painted this up a lot better. I kind of did a very generic paint scheme, just with a flat gray and a red and black with a few accent colors in certain parts of the ship. That's basically all I did, but I could have done it a lot better. When I built this several years ago, my son was about to be born and I was running out of time, and I had to do this quickly because I knew I would not have time to work on it for years after he was born, which is the truth. So it was kind of a rushed job towards the end, and that's why it's not as detailed. You know, like the railings here, of course this model's a bit dusty. The railings here, there should be 3 of the side rails here. So, you know, I did skimp a little bit. My main concern was being this as my first RC conversion and build for a boat. I wanted to make sure that the motor, the electronics, everything worked. And I figured I could always go back and detail it more later, which someday I may do. So I basically used this kit as a learning experience, and I do hope I find this kit again someday because I might just go ahead and redo it. But just to show you, see, I have evolved. I built this ship in 2011, and this one I did in 2021. So as you can see, and this was completely modeled in white, and this was completely modeled in gray. So as you can see, I've definitely evolved in my detailing, so I know I could do a better job. Now what I'm going to show you next are some of the more intricate details of the inside, and maybe a little bit more of the exterior as well. Now what I want to stress is I am not endorsing how I built this, and I'm not telling you this as a how-to build it. Just use the information I give you as an example of one way you could do it. There are many ways you could actually build this model. I'm just showing you how I did it, and keep in mind again, this was my first RC conversion. So if I did it over today in 2021, back when I built it in 2011, it'd be a lot different and a lot better. But let me show you the inside. Okay, now to get to the inside, I have 2 screws. I have one on the bow and one on the stern. I will need to remove them to get into the inside of the ship. Now, I should also have a screw there and on the other side. So it should actually be screwed down in 4 places, but like I said, I was learning with this kit and I kind of messed this part up. That's something I need to fix, because as you can see, when it's not properly tightened, you lose a lot of your structural integrity and how watertight your ship can be, and you don't want water inside. So there's mistake number 1. Make sure you always put screws down everywhere you possibly can. Okay, now I have safely removed the top side and deck of the ship, and one thing you should know, if you do have this kit, this is very flimsy. So be very careful when you're removing it and how you handle it. Now let's take a look at the inside. So here's the inside. Just a quick overview here. Now, I have an electronic speed control that I purchased online several years ago. I think I got that from eBay. At the time, it might have been about $20 to $30. I have a 7.2 volt battery, a CAN motor, which came with the kit, bit of a gearbox, a little bit of a modification there of mine. I think I had a problem, like I broke the gearbox, how it was designed to be built, and I ended up putting this wood in there to make it work. Servo, and then we have our arms here, and this turns our rudder. Now here, this is where the these are like the propeller shafts. Everything turns through here, and then it comes down here, and there's our propellers and twin rudder. Now the rudders originally would be plastic for this kit, and they were smaller. These, however, I bought online. These were ordered from a person on eBay. I got them shipped from England. These were meant for like a radio-controlled sailboat, so these were a lot longer. I actually cut them down and made them, and they actually work pretty well cut down. So I made them fit the ship a bit better. Okay, now this is our receiver. It's just a 2-channel radio. It's a Futaba, and this is a Futaba servo. And I use this Futaba radio right here, the Attack 2. This is really old equipment. This is from like the mid-90s. I think I got this maybe in 1996 or somewhere abouts there. And what I did was I took it from this right here. This is my my Stadium Blitzer, which is completely gutted because I took everything from that kit and put it in the boat, because at the time I couldn't afford the electronics. So I took from this and put in here. Now I'm disappointed I don't have the electronics for this anymore, so that is going to be a refurb project for me down the road. But I did not take the motor from that. The motor, this CAN motor, came with the kit. And part of the reason for that is that old Lindberg kits were designed to be motorized from the get-go. So when they manufactured this model kit, it was designed to be used as a toy or RC model. What you would do is you would put 2 D batteries in, and there would be the small motor, which this is the motor that came with the kit, and there would be a switch right here where this hole is, and you would turn it on, and then you could set like a dial or something. I kind of forget how it worked, but there was all sorts of mechanisms in here, and it would actually make the boat do like a figure 8 or full circle, something to that effect. And you could even make the guns turn. It was all part of it. They would go like left and right. And some people have that mechanism inside when they make it RC. Some people even turn the radar when they make it RC. Now, I didn't do any of that. I kept it really simple. Again, my first build. Okay, just to clarify something, I said it was D batteries. It's possible it was C batteries. I really don't remember. I don't have the direction manual anymore. So, you know, if you know, leave it in the comments. I'd like to know. But it was either D or C batteries if you were going to make it like a freestanding, just battery-operated toy. Okay, with the DC battery clarification put out there, let's look at the batteries in my model. And like I said, it was a 7.2 volt battery pack. It's also an 1800 mAh pack. The battery is double-sided taped down to the hole, so I kind of tried to make it like a permanent thing. This is the only battery I use in the boat. And then I have the Futaba Receiver, again, 2-channel receiver, that is double-sided taped to the battery. Now for the radio, it runs on double A's. Again, Futaba Attack 2, it is a stick-style radio. 2 channels. Okay, so let's take a look at a few more details here. As you can see, I have these wooden beams. I added that for structural support because after I built the ship, it seemed a little flimsy. It's probably just because I didn't build it correctly. Again, it was my first RC conversion of a plastic model kit, and I think I probably messed these up, these plastic beams. So I added the wood for a little more strengthening in the center of the ship, and it does the job. The electronics are also sitting here in the middle of the ship here in a plastic bathtub that helps protect them from any kind of water that might come in, which it is possible that some water comes in, but my boat is pretty much, it stays dry. But water can come in where the rudders kind of attach and come up. Water can also come in here where the propeller shafts go out the stern for your propellers. One thing you can do is use Vaseline in every hole, tube, crevice possible, and that helps keep the ship watertight. So I've done that. Now here, this is a can motor that came with the kit. It works fairly well. Now I don't know if kits still come with the motors, but mine did. I do not recommend putting an RC car engine in here, like a 540 or something, like some sort of stock RC car motor. You don't want a ship this big to run like a speedboat. Now, you can put something that powerful in if you have an electronic speed controller. Just run it at a slow speed and it'll look realistic. But if you put in something too fast, it's going to be way too powerful for something this long. So you're going to have some problems with your steering. And you're also going to have problems with, it's just not going to look authentic if it's going as fast as a speedboat. So I have the original motor that came with the kit. Now, it vibrates, and to stop the vibrations from how I installed it, I just jammed pieces of plastic underneath it and glued it all together, and it works. And like I said earlier, I messed up the gearbox, so I put this wood in there, and that kind of helps the gears kind of turn with pressure being placed up against the gears. And it also creates like a knocking sound effect, which is kind of a cool effect for a boat motor. Of course, that would probably be more authentic to, say, like an old fishing boat or a motorboat, not a Fletcher class destroyer. But I do like the sound of it anyway. So let's turn it all on and I'll show you. All right. I have everything turned on. Now this is the antenna for our receiver. As you can see, it's fairly long, and I do have that exposed when I'm operating the ship on the water. But let's see here. So, you can see everything kind of working there. Go down here and take a look. All right, and then we have our steering. Okay, one other thing to show you here is the gearbox itself, because I've had specific questions on this. Okay, how do you get one motor to turn 2 screws? Okay, it's fairly simple. It's basically a combination of 3 gears. So now I'm not real technical, so I might be describing this incorrectly, but in my layman's terms, okay, you have a shaft that comes out of the motor that spins. There you have a small gear attached to that, and then you have the 2 larger gears which are attached to the shafts that turn the propellers. So you put the one in the middle coming out of the motor, and then you have the teeth of the other 2 gears that are attached to the propeller shafts. You have them touching the teeth from the gear from the motor, and then the one gear from the motor spins both, thusly turning the screws and then turning your propellers. So that's how you get one motor to turn 2 propellers. I hope that helps. Okay, so there you have it. That's the inside of the ship and a little bit of history about how I came about building it the way I did. Like I said, a lot of people have asked me over the years if you've seen my other videos on this ship, you've seen it in operation. I didn't show any of this, so this is for you, those that wanted to see how the inside was done. Now, I don't recommend you do it exactly the way I did. This was a learning experience for me, like I said. And basically, if I had to do it over, I'd do it over a lot different and I'd make it a lot better. But this was my first build. So please forgive me. I know there might be some people out there who was like, oh, that stinks. Oh, how dare you make a video about a boat like that? Well, again, I've learned that everybody starts somewhere, and this is where I started. So I know it's not perfect. I know it's messed up, and I know there are things that are wrong with it, but it can all be fixed, and I learned everything from this boat and applied it to much more successful builds. So you gotta start somewhere, and this is where I started. And for the most part, I kept it intact to how I built it back in 2011. So that's what I wanted to show you for all you that wanted to see. I hope this kind of helped you in kind of trying to figure out how to build yours, give you some ideas. But that's basically it. Now, as far as the RC components, again, you know, the kit doesn't really come with that. You have to add all of that in, like the radio, the battery. I think nowadays you have to add the motor. Mine came with it, you know, but the electronics, speed control, the servo arms, everything. You got to add all that. Now, it does come with a rudder, but like I said, I kind of damaged my rudders when I was building it, so I had to buy the metal ones. And that was from drilling out holes too large, and I just kind of ruined the plastic, and they bent to the point that they weakened and broke. But, you know, you learn from these kind of builds. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. And tell you what, it's raining right now, but through the magic of editing, in a few days when all this rain goes away, I will run the boat in the pool and put it on this video like it was right now. So until then, I'll see you in a couple of seconds for the demo on a sunny day. Okay, so there you have it. Little quick demo of how the ship performs. I was running it kind of slow because I was filming with one hand and controlling a 2-stick controller in the other. A little hard to do, but I was able to accomplish it, so I did run a little slower than I normally would. Also, I was actually having problems with the starboard screw. She was cutting out on me, so this was the first time I ran that boat in over 5 years. So I think it needs a little bit of maintenance, so I'm going to have to go in and take a look at the shaft and the propeller and see if I can get that one spinning a little more, a little better, because the revolutions, it was cutting out on me, so there is something wrong. I think some glue probably just kind of dried up and broke. It is kind of an old model, so just a minor repair, and then it would move a little bit faster and handle a little bit better than it was. Another thing about this particular model, mine, I did not put any ballast in it, so it is kind of prone to being blown by the wind. It's kind of a little bit too light. Another thing that I learned from building this model, so the wind kind of takes it and the current takes it too. So these are all things for you to consider if you make your own. So with that in mind, you know, I have a little bit of maintenance to do on mine, being I wasn't entirely happy with how it was performing, but again, I was keeping it slow for the video, so it does perform better than you saw. So check my other videos out on this ship. I have a better video that shows it operating in a stream, and I will put a link to that at the end of this video. So if you'd like to see it in operation when it's fully functioning, that's your vid. But I hope this video helped you out if this is something that you're interested in, because I know a lot of people did ask about how I did this boat. So there you have it. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching.